of the automation for the next weeks, right? This has not yet been set with a cron job. In the future, this will be set with a cron job. So where we're at right now is checking to see, is the Lambda in AWS, here is our Lambda function. Is this working? Is it actually getting us the websites as we go? We can see here that yes, it is, because we have over here, for example, Genentech contractor. So I just moved that, so let's find it, Genentech. So we have this right here, but we had not seen that as one of our websites. We can confirm that for ourselves over here in websites. So if we scroll all the way down to the letter G's, oh, it is in there. Okay, so let's see if we have one of the newer ones, or maybe we always did have that in there. I could have sworn I hadn't added these yet. Is Georgetown in here? Georgetown, I know I had Georgetown over here, so maybe I should stop making this video. No, but this is how we're checking. So I know that I had gotten a Georgetown one. Georgetown, find emergency roofer. Find, okay, so there we go. This is a correct one. Find emergency roofer. Okay, perfect. So this was the result of another one of our experiments where we were attempting to collect data that would help us mitigate the cost of paying for Google Voice as we are rolling this out and scaling. Eventually, we will incorporate Google Voice, but we don't need to right now because here we're leveraging the name of the website with the way that Google Voice would have found it anyway. So I did do extensive research. I do have that saved. For me, extensive research is finding it in at least 2 or 3 places in at least 2 or 3 different ways. So it's not like I sit here and scout for data and scrape the internet and all this, right? I just look for patterns, because as you look for the patterns, and I don't know if this is just a unique skill to myself, but as you look for the patterns, if they're true patterns, they will emerge in some certain way. So I found that getting websites that say find something or other, in the case of Georgetown roofers, emergency was a high value word, because that means that there is an urgency and people are willing to pay more. And again, this is all about making AI kinds of money and helping people that are prepared to get the help or to provide them the support, because it's just like getting the oxygen in the airplane. The mom has to get the oxygen first. This is a startup. This is not a startup. I'm sorry, this is not a startup. I am not VC funded. I have to be self-funded. So everything I do has to make revenue. I don't want to be VC funded. I don't want to be a startup. I've been doing this for almost 20 years on and off, and I finally get to dive into it. So that's why I have to make sure that every single action I take is not a charitable action. It is actually a beneficially, in terms of revenue, action. So I do keep bringing that up because maybe I'm explaining it to myself as much. Of course, once we have this rolling and once it's its own true Elsa's machine and it's generating sufficient revenue, then we can go back and reach out to others that we want to help. But we are also helping Art of Ink Studio because I think that they really went out of their way to provide value by patenting those more safe needle kits that they have. Anyhow, we have here the proof that this is working, and then what we have next is this way of writing our code. This is why I have stopped taking interviews at coding interviews for potential jobs, because I already know what I want to do, right? This code is like pretty convoluted. It's disgusting on purpose because I don't want it to be easy for someone else to just lift it. And that's just my decision right now. And I'm doing this as I go, so it's going to be messy, but that's okay because we can clean it up later as we are confirming. Right now, what we are doing is we're going to follow these steps. I already know from an engineering perspective what I'm trying to do. So instead of slowing down by writing down each little step and checking that I type check my functions and all this, no, thank you. What I'm going to do is I have the steps here. Code cursor is code aware of its entire code base because I enabled that. So then I just take what I want to do here. Oops, I should clear this out. It's easier to read. So I'm just gonna start with a fresh window over here. I already know what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna add it to chat, and then it already has my instructions right here. Can you please help me create these steps using modular coding practices? Type everything. Please do not yet over. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Well, it's not like it executes. It might in the future, but it's not going to execute. So I'm just going to let it. Instead of having it chat with the code base, because that takes longer, I'm going to go over here and get an example of domain details. All it needs is like a line or two. Oh gosh, those little things are annoying. Okay, so here is, okay, so I'm just gonna try to grab it from here, domain details. Here's an example. Here is an example of domain details.csv. We didn't grab the D. And then, oh, well, whatever. Oh yeah, because it's over here, it does actually port it over there. So I'm gonna try to grab the D because I don't want it to misspell something and then I'm there like having to go back and fix it. All right, there, now this did it correctly. We can get rid of this. All right, there we go. And then here is domain list.json. So we don't want to use this one anymore because we've already used that one. I'm gonna delete it. Actually, I'm gonna put it in backups. Domain list, backups. There we go, move over there, and then we're going to put into this one, the one we just downloaded. So now we can put this into here. It goes in the top level, and we'll rename it to domain list. Can close this, domain list. Let's rename this. Rename. I don't know why I have domain details as JSON also, I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Okay, domain list. Why do we have these domain details? Oh, interesting. Parsed site names. Maybe I do this. I don't really know. I don't remember. See, like that's the whole thing about automation is I already worked on that, so it should just work seamlessly. So then now we can give it this example so that it knows what the JSON is gonna look like. Okay, and then now it knows that it's gonna do this, and then it's gonna pump out the code for us. I'm not saying the code's always right, but it's getting better and better, and I do prefer code cursor, and I am using 4.0. I don't really like mini as much for some reason. I didn't think it was as good, but it might have just been the day I checked it or something, but it doesn't matter. All right, so then here we have all of the steps. We are gonna break dry because there are utils in here that do all that stuff. See, like it makes copies and all this, but I don't want to sit there and go through all that right now. I just want to get these pushed into the web. Compare new AWS list. Okay, I just want to use FTP to push these into the web. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. I don't want to overwrite the menu over there. Compare new. Okay, so then that looks like it should be fine. And I'm gonna put this in here. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop recording because it really eats up my memory and it was never the goal. Okay, actually maybe I don't have to. It's so dramatic. All right. So I'm trying not to erase all of my little notes here. I do wish that they didn't like erase my notes for me. I find that a little bit annoying. Because this reminds me of what I'm doing. That's why I keep them here. So I'm just going to keep them right there. All right. So then merge data, load CSV, backup, save CSV, compare new AWS list. So we want to see, it's going to name it, it's going to make a copy of the old list. So what I want to make sure that doesn't happen is that I don't want to have to rewrite all of this. There was a point here where I wrote some of this information. Ads for legions. transfer legions. Okay, there we go. Okay, I modified this. So this right here, the column, right? It does a pretty good job. Like it does a quite amazing job actually, but I don't want to lose the ones that I have written. Plus there are some that are really specific. So for example, the one that's Doberman something club, that one I want to add something very special to. And then there's the one with the AI art for inmates. I want to add something special to that. So so those examples I want to make sure persist, and I don't want to have to come back over here and redo all that because that was annoying. So when I add the new websites, I should be able to see a CSV, and it's easier to look at when it's a spreadsheet version, but I should be able to see where some of them will have the, or I'm sorry, I should be able to see the websites that don't yet have the orange and the blue, because those get populated later in the workflow. So then I'll be able to more easily manage which ones are new. And actually, you know, the truth is that what I should do is just make myself a list. So I'm gonna go back and add that here because maybe I don't have to struggle so much. If I keep a list of the ones that have that we're already, if I keep a list of new ones, then I know I only need to go check the new ones after I run the app itself to update any of the descriptions. So I'm gonna do that here. And okay, so I'm just gonna say, how can I add a function to create a CSV or text file a CSV that has only the new names listed in it. So let's add get new domains. I think we already have typing and all that. Yeah, okay. So thankfully it included typing. No, it doesn't have CSV because we're making a CSV. Oh, because probably we're saving as. Yeah, save as. Save CSV. Okay, so then get new with domains, compare. I think it rewrote the whole thing. Get new domains. No, it didn't. So we're gonna leave that there. We're gonna just add these functions over here. Okay, so we're going to leave that alone. Get new domains, save new domain CSV, compare. Okay, so we're gonna change this. And now, when we run this, we will be able to see more easily the new websites that we got. So we're gonna do the pre-flight checks now. And then I'm gonna post this online, and then I think this, well, yeah, this doesn't give away too much of what I'm doing because yeah, this is still my IP, but I just want to show how automation works. This isn't going into the LLM. The other parts of the LLM are the ones where some of the decision trees are being made by the LLMs with like baby decisions for baby AGI is what I like to call it. So then here we can go into the pre-flight check, right? See, so this is automation plus AI, just so you can see. So right here, see where this one, the automation recognized that there was already a blog post for this website to have something to post. The other ones didn't yet, so it doesn't go and try to create something for something that doesn't need to. And then in the end, it looks like this. So this step right here populated into the website that is already jam-packed with all the data science, SEO, GEO a person could imagine, and like quite good content into the blog post. And this is what I FTP into my GoDaddy server, so that all of these over 100 websites get automated and they're pushed into the server every day. So I'm sorry, once a week is when I'm gonna do this right now, and then I will set a cron job so that it does this on a cadence, probably once a week, because that is not too fast to swamp the Google console stuff, and that you do get knocked down points for over posting. It's like oversharing, but online for the bots, I guess. But I guess part of the magic in all this is that there is all sorts of infrastructure and code that alerts the AI engines and the Google engines, all of them, like, hey, there's something here. And there's other tactics and techniques that I know for getting traffic drawn to your pages. So again, a lot of this is IP, so I'm not gonna go into the weeds, but basically I did a lot of work to make sure that all of these work each time. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna check if there are new websites that I need to worry about, and this might or might not work. I don't know, I haven't tested it. This is when I test the code. I used to read the code first and then run it, but I don't anymore. Is it because it's gotten so much better? So then 2 were given into pre-flight checks on over here, pre-flight checks. So 2 were given, it should take, oh, because I need to add them right here. And please remember I am dyslexic, so some of this stuff is not super easy for me. And then we want to return, what is it that we were returning? New domains. Okay. So then new domains is equal to, actually this should have been this. Yeah, I don't think I need to add all this complexity. I'm just going to say like return true for right now. Like we're just going to assume there's always going to be new ones for right now, because if not, I'm going to spend a lot more time adding code to functions that we don't really need to worry about yet, because I know that I am adding stuff every time. So then it's going to return something, pre-flight checks, it returns a string. Okay, and then that and that. Okay, I think that should work now. And sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so no such file or directory in, and this might have to do with localhost, because I don't know if I needed to check localhost. So I'm gonna take this. I'm not gonna spend time reading it. There might be something else. If it doesn't work, then I know that I have to go back and add the root directory localhost. I'm pretty sure no such file or directory, domain details.csv. There should be. Ooh, it like erased it as a CSV. So fortunately, I had made copies. Domain details. I know that it was there, right? Or am I crazy? So is it domain details.csv? Maybe. I don't think I overwrote it here. 2 of 2. So then that is a little bit interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to my backups and I'm gonna look at domain details. .csv. Please have it all. Please tell me you have it all. Looks like it does. Yeah, it's got the logo file name and everything. Okay, so okay, we're just gonna get, it should have like 101 or so. Yeah, all right, good. Details. I'm gonna grab this, and then I am going to put it out here, and then we're gonna rename this to CSV. Okay, so now it should be able to find it, and let's get rid of that extra stuff. That could probably throw it off. Okay, so then now let's try it. Did it go away again? It did. Am I deleting it somehow? That's kind of weird. It's because it's putting it, okay, it's like moving it and then it needs it again. That's what's happening. Okay, so I'm just gonna save it from here. Okay, so then I'm gonna leave this right here. This is causing an error because it deletes it. It deletes it or moves it before, and then it needs it again. So then if we look at our code over here, I wonder where it's like erasing it. Load CSV. So let's look at backup CSV. Because it shouldn't ever. I think it's moving it. Maybe. Yeah, see, it's moving it. Told you. It's making copy two. Yeah, that's what we need. It's like copy two. Doo-doo. See, like instead of sitting here picking through line by line, that part is done. Let's see if we have new websites. Nice. All right, so here's our new domains. These are the new ones we have to check. And status. It built in status is active, but when we, animated corpse, I forgot I had put that in here. Okay, perfect. So we have these, and I am gonna stop here because see, like I had picked up my rental services agency friend, and then I kept a few of these, and I need to add the veterinarian, eye doctors, plastic surgeon, skincare, plastic surgeon, and dentist and dental implants lead generations that I had come up with. So anyhow, like the next step is, and I'm not going to run it because I'm going to end up using more and more of my tokens, right? And there's not much more to it except that when it goes to app.py is when it starts to use the LLMs to generate all of the content in a way that is so complex in terms of the algorithms that I'm putting into it, but it does create sufficiently good content. And people can say, oh, well, it's not good enough. Yeah, but as a human, I would have written orders of magnitude shittier content in that amount of time with much less enthusiasm. And with that, I sign off, homies. See you on the other side of Wales.